2.
My name is Abbie Suttill and my student number is 1450914 and I'm playing Lucy.
I am Melville, my student number 1442441. My character is Bobby.
It Spence, student number 1436114, playing Ricky.
Name's Pelligrini, my number is 1436450 and I'm playing Anna.
My name is Lumen Hirata-Smith, my student number is 1438545 and I'll be playing the character of Sarah.
And there's the kettle.
That's it.
Well, that's the kettle, yeah. It does look a bit shit, but it does its job, so...
No, I mean that's it, that's...
Oh, yeah! I'm sorry, I'm a dickhead, yeah. That's the end of the induction, yeah.
Right. Is there anything else? Apart from where the fire exits are in the kettle?
You've done the PowerPoint, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done the PowerPoint. Any tips? I mean, I'm guessing you're taking me on the induction because you're experienced.
Well, I wouldn't always bet on that.
But you've been here a while.
Yeah, a bit, yeah.
Longer than me.
Yeah.
So any advice? Like, personal advice?
Make full use of the fist bump.
The fist.
Yeah? Spud me? Yeah. I can't really pull off saying spud me, but yeah.
I'm not being rude, but are you taking the piss?
What?
Are you taking the piss? I don't mind if you are, it's just...
No, why?
Well, I asked you for advice. You told me to make full use of the fist bump.
Yeah.
Well, how is that advice? How is that useful in any way?
Well, firstly, for starters, you look cool. Secondly, it's safe. It means no one can grab all your fingers in your hand. And thirdly, the fist bump guarantees that the only fecal matter on the palm of your hand is your own. And that's not even a dig at service users. Some of the clinicians around here are suspiciously fast off the throat.
The fist bump. How long have you been here?
8 years.
Right.
Yeah. I'm Bobby, by the way.
Anna.
Fist bump.
Yes.
Is that useful?
Not useful.
Is it useful to say or to think that you're not in control?
Dunno. Feels true. No, I shouldn't say.
This isn't about what you're supposed to say, it's about saying what you actually feel and think.
Say what I actually feel, and the sessions take longer.
They don't take longer, they're always an hour.
They feel longer.
Why do you think the sessions take longer if you say how you actually feel?
Because
You feel that we're in conflict. Maybe it seems more difficult, but sometimes difficult things are, you know, the things that are worthwhile. But I understand when things seem difficult, they can feel longer.
Yeah. You kiss a pretty girl for an hour, it feels like a minute. Put your hand on a cookie for a minute, it feels like an hour. Do you know who said that?
Was it Einstein?
Yeah. Clumsy perv.
What?
The clumsy perv.
Why clumsy?
Who puts their hand on a cookie? I never have. I'm pretty clumsy.
Last time we met, you said you were feeling very anxious. Is the thought of conflict one of these thoughts that makes you feel anxious?
Why?
Because it means something getting hurt.
Is that always the case? Does conflict always lead to someone always getting hurt? When you said that the sessions felt longer and I said they were always an hour, we were in conflict then. But did either of us get hurt?
No.
No, so conflict doesn't always lead to people getting hurt. Does it?
No.
And in this room, in these sessions, I'd like you to be honest about how you feel, because that's how we can work through any problems you're experiencing and issues that you're dealing with.
Yeah, but when I'm honest, that's when...
When what?
When stuff starts happening.
What do you mean? That's when the voices you hear start talking to you.
No, I mean, they're always allowed.
What do you mean then?
It's when things start going on with me, with you guys.
What do you mean by that?
That's when I'm honest, that's when you say I'm wrong. That my angels aren't real, and that's when you start to dose me up. Give me drugs, like just...
So you feel it's when you start to tell the truth, that's when...
Yeah.
That's
Things start going wrong. Yeah.
Nice day.
Is it?
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful,
Sun's out, but not too strong.
but not too strong.
I love autumn.
Why?
Red leaves, nice light.
Dead leaves.
What?
Dead leaves.
Well, yeah, but
Not nice leaves. Dead leaves.
well,
Is my mum coming?
I don't know.
Is my dad coming?
I don't know. I don't know. How long have you been here, Lucy?
Too long now.
Well, can you remember how long?
This time, about a year.
And do you like it here?
I'd like to have my own place.
Really? Yeah?
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
What would you do with it?
I'd have a cat.
You want a cat?
Yeah.
What would you call it?
Jack. Or Fido.
Doesn't Fido a dog's name?
I don't call anything Fido. My uncle had a fish called Fido. You could call a kid Fido if you really wanted to.
I guess so. How would you get there?
Underground. Underground. All the way to my door. Underground.
Underground.
Yeah. All the way.
And how are you finding the medication that Dr. Worsley has prescribed you?
I don't like it. Slow me down, it makes it hard to focus on things.
And have you been taking any medication for the side
No,
effects?
because the medication for the side effects has side effects.
Yes, it can do, yes.
Sometimes I feel like I'm a different person to who I should have been. Like there's another one of me somewhere doing alright in that. My dad came to see me the other day and I felt like that. I felt like when he looked at me, he wasn't looking at me. Like he was looking through me, like he couldn't see me properly. And I feel like if I didn't have to take this medication, I'd get better quick.
That's a part of your illness. A symptom of your illness is that you feel like you shouldn't be taking your medication.
But what if I shouldn't be taking my medication?
I've seen you without your medication. You don't look after yourself, you neglect yourself, and sometimes you hurt yourself. I don't want to see that. No one here does.
I think when I haven't had my medication, I felt better.
That's a symptom of your illness. It's not the objective truth.
Well, I'll have to take your word for that, won't I?
Yes.
Have you ever taken medication?
These sessions aren't about me.
Haven't you?
These sessions aren't about me, Ricky. They're about you.
But have you?
It's irrelevant!
What if I thought it was? I'd be wrong. I thought so.
Everyone has problems, issues and things they struggle with. Some of these problems will require medication. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I think the important thing to remember is that lots of people require medication. And I think the key for you is to not take it personally.
It's hard not to, though. When a doctor pulls down your pants, stick a needle in your arse, it feels personal.
I understand that, but it's important to remember that it's not. The doctor or the nurse is just doing their job. And their job revolves around keeping you well and safe.
When things happen, you don't take them personally.
I can't pretend that I don't. I do, yes, but I try to focus on the positive.
Really?
Yes, I force myself to think about how I can affect any positive change.
Sounds difficult.
It is. Anyway, let's not waste the time we have talking about me. It's not what we're here for. Let's get back to you.
Oh, they alright? Everything okay?
I don't know.
What do you mean, you don't know?
I mean, I don't know if they're alright because they're all under their sheets.
That's fine.
But how can I check if they're breathing if they're under their sheets?
You just assume that they're breathing. Look, it gets complicated enough here without going into their rooms and checking a pulse every hour. You look through their hatch and they're in their beds. You can't do much more.
Well, I could.
But would it be practical? Would it be beneficial, even? Exactly.
Why is every one of them completely under their sheets?
Hiding from the morning sun. No curtains.
Why?
They get your risk. They might hang themselves.
Yeah, I got it at first.
Oh! Oh! Oh, constipated.
What?
So I'm constipated.
Really?
Yeah.
Too much information.
Really feel backed up.
Oh, really?
What?
Have some fruit.
It's big rolls fruit.
What?
It's big rolls fruit.
What do you think?
Well, yeah.
They're not fruit, they're a biscuit.
Well, they're not a biscuit. Biscuits have to go soft when they go off. Big rolls go hard. For anything to be a biscuit, it has to go soft when it goes off. There was a legal thing about it. Jaffa cakes were being taxed as biscuits, And they were like, "We don't want no biscuit tax, we're the cake, you fuckers." And the tax people were like, "Fuck off, you're the biscuit, we'll see what biscuit I am." And Jack and Kate were like, "No." And so they were, "Okay then, we'll see what you call you fuckers." And they did. And the lawyer actually proved that cakes go hard when they go off and biscuits go soft. The fact that Jack and cakes go hard when they go stale must make them an actual cake. And they won. HMRC must have been sick. Must have been like, "What I'm saying with the fucking biscuit island." No fucker wants to get taxed, do they?
No.
How long have you been here again?
8 years. I told you.
It shows.
Why? Because of my expertise and know-how.
No, because you've just monologued for 5 minutes about how a fig roll isn't a fucking biscuit.
Fair news. It's nice to educate yourself, though, isn't it? And a tiny pie for it.
It's not a good day. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Okay, Lucy.
I did not wish before, I don't know what it is!
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Okay, Lucy, okay.
Look at me, and then they leave, and then they go, and then they start talking, and there's only so much information you can put in a phone book, but they have it all and they use it. They use it, they want to hurt me. They might want to kill me, and they've got the internet as well, the phone book and the internet, and Edward Snowden said that they can listen to you through your phone and delete your words. They can listen through your phone and delete your words. So,
Okay, Lucy, just breathe a little bit, yeah?
I am breathing! If I wasn't breathing, I'd be dead! They said I'd be dead, but I am breathing, so I'm not!
Okay.
Is that all you do? Say okay, just all day, just say okay, is that it?
No, I can see other things.
Yeah, I bet. Your hair looks nice.
Thank you. So does yours.
Does it? This? No, it doesn't look nice, but... No. Thank you. You've got manners. You've been brought up good. And your hair does look nice.
Thank you.
Do you and Bobby fancy each other?
No, I don't.
Thought you did. Thought the looks that I saw travelling between you two were... Are you sure?
Yes.
You give your looks though?
I haven't noticed. I'll have to keep an eye on.
Yes. And I know that love. I do know that love. You don't believe me. I do know that love. See, that's the love that he gave me. You won't find it in the phone book.
Thank you very much. Line up for your question. You're all in. Lumen, can you give me a brief example of how you applied the acting techniques we've been covering in your process?
I used emotional memory for scene 13, where I remembered a time where I felt incredibly exhausted and had to emotionally support someone. I remembered what the room was like and the way I felt in my breathing in my body, and I tried tried to place myself in that before I went into the scene. I also wrote a letter to John from the perspective of Sarah. By doing that, I actually developed a way that Sarah writes, and it helped me develop the way she writes her notes for all of her therapy. So down to the way that she structures things, date things, and even her handwriting. So I found that sticking to a way of how she writes her notes, her handwriting, and the organisation of it helped me find the character.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Ed, a brief example of how you've applied our acting techniques to your process.
So, one of the techniques I used a lot throughout it was the idea of emotional memory. I found I used it a lot in scene 4 towards the end, where it's just some of the stuff that he was talking about is a very hard-hitting emotion. It's trying to place yourself in that time to try and create a truthful performance, because it's how I felt mentally and that's how you feel physically when having to say things like this. It was just something I had to apply throughout the process.
Thank you. Abbie, can you give me a brief example of how you've applied our acting techniques to your process?
So I looked at the given circumstances, that's what I started off with, and I really wanted to look at Lucy's schizophrenia. So the given circumstances is that she was abused by her dad, I think it was sexual abuse, and that she's got schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia. So when I looked into that, I kind of got a sense that they have not multiple personality disorder, but personalities that change very quickly. So when we did the unity, I really wanted to focus on Lucy's different personalities coming through within the scenes and how quickly a mood can change. I did that through emotional memory as well. I was trying to put myself into her situation through thinking about things that I've gone through in the past and how I felt and how I could use that for Lucy.
Thank you very much. Emily, can you give me a brief example of how you applied our acting techniques to your process?
So when I first got the character, I did my character bio so I could understand who Anna is as a person and answered all the questions to get to know her, but also her background. I also used emotional memory also. So when I remember, like when I've had a job where I just got in a job or where I've been scared of someone, I used that in my scene with Lucy to try and channel that sort of emotion, the body language and facial expressions. And then I also united every single one of my scenes, so I knew exactly when to change, exactly what the atmosphere were in each of the parts, and I found out my obstacles and my objectives, so I truly understood the scene properly, and so I gave a naturalistic performance.
Lovely, thank you. And Jake, can you give me a brief example of how you applied our acting techniques to your process?
Once I received the text, I completed the character bio questions and the text analysis tables that were given to us by Joe. This helped give me a brief overview of the character and the play. I also considered a job that I'd had in the past for a little bit too long, and how comfortable I was in the space and often doing the work there, and how I was able to teach others and take on that kind of responsibility, so the emotional memory from that. I also looked towards the given circumstances of the text. So again, as I was talking about the comfortability of the workspace, thinking about the given circumstances and where and who I am within the building, was able to give me a sense of belonging in the space.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Thank you all.